What is up, my geeks and peeps, my ducks and pucks, my little crawdads? It is me, Video President 102, and today we are reading Chapter 11, To the End of Maybe by MoonGazer215. Now, To the End is chapters 11 to 24, and I know what you're thinking, why are you reading so much at once? Well, it's because I missed the last 3 weeks of reading the book, and technically I should be ending the book today if I, stuck to my calendar, but between being sick and traveling and now the virus, I haven't had much time to read Wattpad read alouds to you guys, so I'm going to try to stay on schedule and end the book today so we could go on with my schedule like normal for, the rest of eternity. Yeah. Why did I say it like that? Yee. There we go. I could say it normally. Okay. If you want to read along, MoonGazer's link to her Wattpad is in the description. Just click it and then find Maybe, and then chapter 11, which is month 6, Logan's POV, and you can read along. Trigger warnings, mention self-harm, mention of eating disorder, and related things. Okay, whatever. It's been a half a year since we lost Patton, then a month since our failed attempt to rescue him. Missy had been adjusting to being blind, with Pranks' help, of course. Roman has completely stopped eating, which is concerning. I feel his bulimia has turned into anorexia. Deceit has been eating more. Just a little, but it's progress. MG, especially, helps get Deceit to eat. Virgil is worried about Roman, but no amount of his being will get Roman to eat. Virgil had told me he'd force-feed that stupid, annoying, hot boyfriend of his. And now, I don't know. This entire situation is so emotional. And sometimes I wish I could go back to being emotionless. But then I'd miss out on happiness and joy and excitement and contentment and laughter and smiles and lust and love. But I'd also never have to feel sadness or anger or hatred or jealousy or disgust or fear. I'm scared. Logan? I jumped slightly. Missy was standing in the doorway. His eyes stared past me. This past week has been starting to get around more on his own, so Pranks wasn't clinging to him as usual. Hello, Missy, I responded. He visibly relaxed. Oh, good. I'm not talking to a wall. I'm not talking to a wall, right? I chuckled. No, you're not talking to a wall. Do you need anything? Yeah, Missy started. I noticed Pranks wearing his hoodie again, and I know it's winter, but I'm still slightly worried. But I don't want to bring it up in case he didn't. It's alright, Missy. Do you want me to go ask? The younger boy nodded. Can you lead me to the commons? Of course. I stood making my way over to the blind child. I reached out and took an outstretched arm. He flinched slightly. Are you okay? I asked. Missy nodded. Yeah, it's just a little strange. I know. I started guiding him to the commons. Pranks was sitting on the couch, and just like Missy said, he was wearing his hoodie. He was curled up, his head resting on an arm of the couch, watching a Disney Channel show, something about pranksters. Hello, Pranks, I said. How are you? He shrugged. I'm okay. Pranks? Missy reached out to find the edge of the couch, but accidentally shoved his hand in Pranks' face. He jumped, pulling his hand back quietly. I'm sorry. Pranks just laughed, grabbing the other boy's hand. It's fine, Missy, and just so you know, I'm fine too. How did you know I was worried? Missy asked. You always get Logan when you think Yeah, the older boy said. He got up from the couch and hugged the other. I promise I will tell you if I'm feeling that way, okay? Missy nodded, nuzzling into Pranks' neck. Pranks kissed the top of his head and held him tighter. Then Virgil stormed to the kitchen, ruining the precious moment. I watched him as he angrily yanked out 2 Powerades from the fridge, 1 0 calories and 1 normal, and promptly switched the labels. Virgil? I said. I asked what you're doing. The tray whirled around him, pointing one of the bottoms in my face. I'm getting Roman to have something with calories in it. I held up my hands in defense. Okay, that's very creative. Even if you're lying to him. Virgil deflated. I have to do something. I sighed. I understand. Last time this happened, Patton had to guilt trip Roman into eating something. Virgil looked up at me. Last time? I grimaced. 14 years ago, Patton found Roman passed out in the bathroom. He was bleeding from his mouth, and it appeared he was trying to, or did, force himself to vomit. He ended up rupturing his esophagus. Virgil leaned against the counter in shock. Jeez, Roman. He sighed heavily. What am I going to do with him, Logan? I have a few ideas, Roman said, walking into the kitchen. Virgil immediately got up and hugged him. Whoa, not that I'm complaining, but why the sudden hug? Roman said, returning it. The other just shrugged. I felt like it. Roman laughed lightly, smiling into Virgil's ear. Virgil smiled softly and closed his eyes. Roman reached behind Virgil and grabbed the Powerade labeled as 0 calories. Why don't we go finish? Roman whispered into Virgil's ear. Virgil laughed, a rare sound. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. I gave him a look as he turned to grab his Powerade. What? He asked. I looked over where Roman disappeared, then back at him. Virgil's face grew a bright red. Shut up, we were watching The Princess Bride. I smiled. Okay. Virgil grumbled and stalked off. Maybe soon Pat and I could watch movies together. Maybe. Okay, Chapter 12, Flashback, Virgil's POV. 15 years ago. I woke up to the sound of crying. I had slept outside on the bench swing last night after the others yelled at me for making Thomas too anxious for an audition. Looking around, I saw the source of the crying, a small bundle of blankets lying in front of the door. What? I slowly got up, the wicker creaking. I knelt down beside the bundle, moving the blanket to see what was inside. It was a kid. A freaking infant was left on the door. What the The kid giggled, reaching out towards me. It was kinda cute. Hi, I said quietly. The kid waved his arms excitedly. A smile, a little smile. Well, what's your name? The kid wrapped his tiny hand around my finger. My eyes widened. Pranks? His name was Pranks. I smiled. Hi, Pranks. Welcome to the mindscape. I carefully picked him up, cradling him in my arms. There are others here, too. They are kinda mean, though. Well, except Patton. He's like a dad. Logic's okay, I guess. He's kinda bossy. Oh, don't me get started on Princey. He's annoying and rude and loud and always thinks he's the center of the universe. But I guess when you really get down to it, he's alright. But don't tell anyone. Prince laughed a tiny little baby laugh. I smiled. There was something too pure and innocent about little kids. I rubbed his hand, which was still clamped around my finger. His skin was so soft. He giggled a little, grabbing one of my hoodie strings and tried to put his mouth on it. I laughed and pulled it away. I got up from the ground in favor of sitting on the bench swing. The chains creaked when I laid back, pushing the swing forward slightly. Prince giggled again. God, this was the cutest baby ever. Oh, I haven't told you who I am yet. I'm Anxiety. The others don't like me much. I'm the dark side. You probably won't like me either. I paused. My name's Virgil, but you probably won't remember this. I smiled down at the little kid. The others will be waking up soon. Maybe one day things will change. Maybe. Okay, Chapter 13, Month 7. Logan's POV. I woke up to all three kids and Roman running into my room and yelling at me to wake up. MG jumped on my bed, trying to pull my glasses on my face. I gently took them and put them on myself. Then I pulled a blanket over my head. Come on, Lolo, MG said, tugging on the blanket. It's Christmas, get up. Come on, Microsoft nerd, Roman started. He was wearing a white shirt and a red Christmas pajamas with crowns and Santa hats on them. Virgil cooked breakfast, and he promised there'd be crafters. I don't feel well, I mumbled from under the blanket. The kids awed at disappointment. Roman had a look of confusion on his face. Kids, why don't you see if Virgil needs any help? Roman said. Missy and Prinks nodded and left. MG followed soon after, but not before saying, Get well soon! Okay, what's the real reason? Roman asked as soon as the kids were out of earshot. I shrugged, not wanting to talk right now. He sighed, and I felt a dip in my bed. It's about Patton, isn't it? I didn't respond. Roman groaned. At least go out and eat something. Hypocrite, I mumbled. That shut him up. I sighed, slowly sitting up. You're underweight again, aren't you? His silence was my only response. Roman, we've been over this before. You can't just... And why can't I? He yelled suddenly. Everything's spiraling out of control. I can't save Patton. I couldn't save Missy. I couldn't protect Virgil. The only thing I have to do is not eat. I was quiet for a moment, shocked into silence from his outburst. Did he really think that? I hugged my head. It won't be the same without him, I whispered. There's no sugar cookies this year, no gingerbread house. Did you know he bakes those himself? He sings to himself when he cooks. And one time, he was too nervous to try to spell out of my spell book, so he asked if I wanted to become a dog. Whenever you came home unconscious, he always took extra time to make sure you were comfortable. He was the first one Virgil opened up to and spoke to. He went back for Deceit in the cave. He wouldn't leave him behind. He cares so much about everyone. He found depression in the imagination. I told him it needed a friend. It tricked him into releasing it and told him to hurt himself. Roman gasped at that. I locked him in his room for a week before I came in looking for him. I continued. His arms were awful. He told me he wanted to die. Tears started rolling down our faces. After we found you passed out in the bathroom, vomiting blood, you promised you wouldn't go underweight again. It terrified him that he would find you like that again. Now it's quiet and things are all going wrong. I looked up at him. It's not the same without Patton. Roman lunged at me, wrapping his arms around me tightly and sobbing into my shoulder. Broken sobs. I would be lying if I said I wasn't crying too. I'm sorry, Logan, Roman said, wiping his tears away. For what? I asked, slightly confused. For Patton, for not eating, for fighting dragon witches, heck, even for ruining your shirt. I cried. I'm just sorry. You don't need to be sorry. We will get Patton back. And you will start eating. You're the only one of us who could fight. And my shirt? I smiled lightly. I'm not sure I can forgive you. Roman laughed. Okay, calculator watch. Let's go eat and open some gifts. I nodded, standing and following him out. The smell of eggnog pancakes wafted through the hallways. I heard the kids laughing and bells ringing and hands a little too eager to get their presents. Hey, gays, Virgil said from the kitchen. It's pronounced guys, I replied. I know what I said, the darker trait smirked. You are unbelievable, I laughed. Whoa, he's laughing? Virgil gasps. It's a Christmas miracle, Roman mocked. Shut up, I groaned. Virgil shook his head while Roman laughed, making his way over to help cook. I went over to the commons, sitting on the couch and watching the kids sort out their gifts. After a few minutes, Roman called out that the pancakes were done. We all sat at the table. Deceit didn't show up as usual, but one other chair was empty, a haunting reminder that this year is different. Patton's not here. Despite that, we tried to smile. Patton would kill us if he found out that we weren't happy on Christmas. Penny for your thoughts, nerd? Roman asked, pulling a small pancakes into his plate. Virgil stared in amazement. Roman was eating. I shook my head. It's nothing. Roman shrugged and poured about a half a jar of Crofters onto his single pancake. I frowned. Rude. But he's eating, so I'll let it slide. We quickly finished eating. Roman actually took another pancake after his first one, and Virgil nearly died of shock. Then the kids practically dragged us over to the pile of gifts, already sorted out to who they're addressed to. Missy went first. Frank explained what he got. From Virgil, he got a new pair of blue earbuds with a flannel pattern on them. Roman got him a soft, fuzzy blanket. MG made him a card with pop-out words so Missy could read it. Pranks got him a necklace with a 3-sided tube engraved on the words, Love, Brave, and Mine. Thank you, Missy said, tearing up. Pranks kissed the other boy. Of course, Missy, I love you. Younger giggled, I love you too. I cleared my throat. You have one more present. The two nodded, and Missy unwrapped a small box. It's a pair of glasses, Prank said. Put them on, I told Missy. The blind boy held a confused look. Slowly, Prank slid the glasses onto Missy's face. Missy blinked. His eyes went wide, and tears started trailing down his cheeks. Missy, are you okay? Prank asked. He nodded and quickly looked around. The second he spotted me, he jumped up and threw his arms around my waist. Thank you, he sobbed. What did you do? Roman asked. The glasses. I could see, Missy yelled. I chuckled. I found a spell in Patton's spell book. I was unsure, but I tried it anyway, and it seems to have worked. Wait, Virgil interrupted. Patton has a spell book? Yes, I nodded. Do you remember the two stray dogs? Virgil's eyes widened. They were you? I nodded, chuckling. Rowan burst out laughing, earning a sharp glare from his soulmate. You and Dad turned into dogs? MG giggled excitedly. It was purely Patton's idea, I claimed. Sure, Roman winked. I flushed. Let's get on with the gifts. They laughed. MG's favorite gift was a painting of a single gold flower from Deceit. Roman's favorite was a Tim Burton poster from Virgil. Virgil's favorite was a single ring inlaid with a small black diamonds from Roman. Frank's favorite was a Polaroid photo of him and Missy that Missy took. Is that all? I asked. My presents were satisfactory, but nothing to get excited about. Wait, MG yelled, pulling out 7 more gifts. There are more! He handed them out, frowning a little when he set Deceit aside the tree. Everyone started unwrapping them all at once. I pulled back the paper. Inside was a blue tie with indigo silk paw prints sewn on. Embroidered on the back was, for my possum soulmate, love you, Patton. I teared up, looking around the room. I could see the others in various similar states. I smiled. Who, Patton? Patton's POV. I hope I was able to teleport their gifts. I know I can teleport other things, except for myself, but I don't know if it worked from so far away. I heard a whoosh above me. Looking up, I saw a piece of paper flutter down into my lap. I carefully opened it, so I wouldn't get it wet, and nearly started crying. Inside it read, We love the presents, we miss you loads, and we will get you back soon. Merry Christmas, Patton, Rowan and Virgil. We miss you, Dad, the kids. We love you too, Patton. Logan. Heart. I smiled, hugging the card close. Maybe it'll be over soon. Maybe. Going on to chapter 14. Flashback, Patton's point of view. Okay, 1 year ago. It's Christmas! I yelled, jumping out of my bed and scrambling to the kitchen. I darted around gathering ingredients to make eggnog pancakes. 2 cups of flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon salt, half a teaspoon ground nutmeg, 2 large eggs, 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and most importantly, 2 cups of eggnog. I'm not exaggerating when I say these pancakes are good. Once the first batch is cooking, I pull out a giant gingerbread house. I made it last night after everyone else was asleep. A candy cane and chocolate door was in the front with a red and black licorice windows. Icicles hung from the roof and windows. A red gummy chimney sat on top with a marshmallow smoke coming out. Small candies were stuck all over the roof, and of course the whole thing was covered in edible glitter. I stood on the table and went to flip the pancakes. Next, I got out the sugar cookies we all decorated. Roman liked decorating the reindeer and making them all fancy. Virgil liked decorating stars because they were simple and he couldn't mess them up. The kids didn't have a favorite, they just went wild with frosting and sprinkles. Logan liked decorating the snowflakes. He made them look realistic and cool with frost patterns and sugar crystals. I set them down next to the gingerbread house and turned to put the pancakes on a plate. Seeing them on the table, I turned to open the fridge. I grabbed the syrups, fruit, whipped cream, and other pancake stuff and set it on the table. Then, as always, the kids rushed down to sort the presents under the tree. I laughed and went upstairs to wake the others. I knocked on Roman's door first. Merry Christmas, kiddo. Breakfast is done. Okay, I'll be down in a second. Merry Christmas, I heard a response. Next, I skipped over to Virgil's room. Hey, kiddo. Breakfast is ready. Thanks to Treat opened the door, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. Hey, pet. I giggled. Merry Christmas, kiddo. Virgil smiled and gave a tired chuckle. Merry Christmas. Leslie went to Logan's room. Hey, Logan, I said, knocking on the indoor door. Breakfast is ready. No response. Logan? I opened the door and smiled. The smart tray was asleep on his desk, glasses askew and his hair sticking up everywhere. A few half-wrapped presents sat on the desk, among of pieces of tape and wrapping paper. I nearly awed out loud. I giggled and shook his shoulder. Logan, wake up, it's Christmas. Logan mumbled something incoherent and buried his face into his arms, officially knocking off his glasses. I couldn't help but smile. He was just so darn cute. What's taking so long, Padre? Roman asked, poking his head into the room. I can't get Logan to wake up, I said. Roman smirked. Leave it to me. I stepped inside, and Roman went to stand next to the sleeping tray. How, Merry Bitchmas, everyone! Let's all gather round the fire, roasting chestnuts and hanging up stockings on the mantelpiece, hiding into our little beds and dreaming of sugar plums at night. Logan shot up with a yelp, falling backwards in his chair and landing on the ground. Roman! Logan said, and I scowled at the same time. The fanciful trait just smiled and walked out. Hurry up, you two, pancakes are getting cold. I shook my head. Are you okay, Logan? Logan sat up, nodding. Yes, I believe I'm fine, Patton. Okay. I spotted his glasses. Oh, here are your glasses. Thank you, he said, putting them on. Do you know what the whole thing was? Oh, yeah, I said. It's Christmas. I tried to wake you up, but you didn't get up, so Roman came in and yeah. Logan hummed and nodded. Then he froze. It's Christmas? I nodded and watched him as he frantically gathered the presents, mumbling to himself. He dropped one of the gifts in his rush. Logan cursed and tried to pick it up, but it only caused more to tumble out. Do you need some help, Logan? I asked. He gave a defeated sigh. Yes. I giggled and grabbed a few of the presents from his arms. How much sleep did you get last night? Well, I had to finish the gifts and then wrap them. That took roughly 6 hours. I started right after dinner, so... Logan thought aloud. I fell asleep around 1 a.m. Logan, I'm surprised at you, I yelled. You're usually the one who's always on a strict sleep schedule. The smart trade grimaced. Yes, I believe I will pay for it. I giggled. I walked out and set the gifts down. After we had put them in their proper place under the tree, we sat down with the others at the table. Oh, finally, we can eat, Roman exclaimed. I smiled at him and Virgil, and later gave a shy smile back. We began to eat and chat. The kids talked about what they think they got. After breakfast and cookies, we went to open the gifts. We should go oldest to youngest this year, Prank shouted. Roman looked confused. Aren't we all the same age, though? Well, except for the kids, Virgil mumbled. Yes, but the 4 of us, Roman gestured to the adults. Are we the same age? I shook my head and laughed. Nope, I'm the oldest. I'm 6 months younger, Logan said. But, Roman stammered. Virgil and I, we never... What? I laughed. You and Virgil are the same age. What? They screeched in unison. The kids and I laughed while Logan let out a small chuckle. You two are younger than Logan by a year, I explained. Roman and Virgil glared at each other for a moment. Can we open our gifts now? Angie asked. Prank smirked. If Roman and V don't kill each other, then maybe. We are now heading on to chapter 15, which is Deceit's POV. This chapter is probably going to be short, but let's see what the author does. I bet you thought I was done with fourth wall breaks. Well, I am. But in reality, I'm trying to find a way to get Patton back. I feel good about what happened. I just meant to scare them a little, but I messed up like I always don't. Now Patton is in trouble, and it's my fault. Logan told me he went back for me. I think he was trying to reassure me, but it made me feel better. I may be a liar, but I don't have a heart. Jessie! MG's voice rang from outside my door. Case in point. Get out, I said. I really like that kid. As a friend, ya nasties. I've seen your comments, or rather like a kid of my own. MG opened the door, holding 2 plates of food. Deceit, why don't you always stay in your room? I shrugged. The others love me. Oh, Deceit, they don't hate you. I found out they can't. He pouted. They don't. I sighed. Don't explain. Patton thinks you as one of his kiddos. Roman got you Salazar when you were little. Virgil understands you, MG said. Logan is trying to give you a chance. I stared at the ground. He was right. But the flashbacks. Maybe. You really didn't think it'd end here, did you? No explanation to the flashbacks? It's showing how important everyone is, except me. Because who needs lying, right? No one, that's who. MG set the plate next to me. Deceit, please eat. You've been getting better and I don't want you to hurt anymore. And ignore the meanies in the comments telling you to clean out their snake enclosure. You take good care of Salazar. I laughed. Yes, the author knows this is short, but maybe he'll let me have another flashback chapter. Maybe. So much foreshadowing in that chapter, oh my gosh. Okay, next chapter, flashback, Virgil's POV. 14 years ago. Hey, it's alright, please stop crying. I gently shushed the 1-year-old pranks in my arms. Why did I think it'd be a good idea to raise a kid by myself? Oh, that's right. The others hate me and would take him away. They would never let me see him again. Oh no. No, I'd never let him take him. What if they think he's a dark side? I mean, he's pranks. What if they think pranks are gonna go wrong or be too mean? I sat down in the corner of my bed, holding the kid close and whispered, I'll never let them take you away. Pranks was quiet now, giving a little yawn before falling asleep. I stroked the soft baby hairs on his head. I've hidden him for a year, but he's getting bigger now, and louder. I don't know what I'm going to do when he's able to walk and talk. I sighed. I can't hide him forever. Getting up carefully, I set Pranks in the crib and summoned. The baby huffed a little, but didn't wake. I walked out into the kitchen, intending to grab a snack and get back to my room. Unfortunately, Princey was there. Great. Marilyn Monroe, what brings you out of your tragic kingdom? He asked, way too cheerfully. I glared at him and scrounged around the fridge, finding a purple Gatorade and some applesauce. I stood up. I grabbed a bag of crisps, a spoon, and a plastic wine glass, acutely aware that Princey was watching me. Hey, Anxiety, why don't you talk? He asked. Are you mute? I paused and shrugged. Princey hummed. I know. What if you wrote down what you wanted to say? I wrinkled my nose and shook my head. Pranks could wake up any moment, and I needed to get back. Oh, come on, Dr. Gloom, please, Princey begged. I closed my eyes. It'll be easier to just write fuck off and be on my merry way. I set my food on the table and held out my hand. The prince trait squealed and summoned a pen and pad. He practically shoved them into my hands and started asking questions. Too many questions. What's your favorite color? Why do you spend so much time in your room? Why do you wear makeup? What's your room like? Do you like animals? What's your favorite musical? What's your name? I felt my hand starting to shake as he got louder and louder and louder. Eventually shaking was too bad and I dropped my pen and pad. What? Anxiety, are you alright? Princey asked. I shook my head, quietly gathering all my stuff and rushing to my room, locking the door behind me. I jumped all the food onto my bed. Hopefully, Princey wouldn't come after me. Like that wouldn't ever happen. I took a deep breath to calm myself and walked over to the sleeping kid. He was snuggled up to his light purple blanket and his little lion stuffed animal. His mouth was slightly open and little snores were coming out. Someone pounded on my door. I flinched. Pranks stirred, but thankfully didn't wake up. Anxiety! If you didn't want to write it out, you could have said so. Princey's loud voice yelled through the door. Pranks scrunched his face and let out a little huff. He was waking up. I quickly scooped him up, shushing him gently and hoping he'd fall asleep again. Princey pounded on the door again, this time trying to turn the knob as well. Ugh, typical. Anxiety, open up! I flinched. Pranks let out a small cry. No, shh, it's okay, Pranksy, it's all right, I whispered, hoping Princey wouldn't hear me. Anxiety, what's the noise? Princey shouted. I gulped, and Patton's voice came through. Hey, kiddo, what's going on? He asked. Princey sighed. Anxiety locked himself in his room after I asked him a bunch of questions, which he didn't answer. And I was knocking on his door and I thought I heard a child crying. It was quiet for a moment, then Patton spoke again. I'll get Logan. He can help. That's when I started panicking. All three of them? Trying to get in my room? No way. I took Prinks and quietly hid in the closet. I tried to control my breathing and not freak out the kid. Soon I heard their voices again. So Anxiety has locked himself in his room? Logan said. Yeah, Patton said. He won't unlock it or anything, and I'm worried. He's done this before. Logic sighed. What makes this time any different? I heard a child crying, Princey chimed in. Logic sighed. All right. I froze. What are they doing? I heard a lock click, and my breathing stopped. I heard my door hit the wall hard and flinched. Anxiety? Patton yelled, seeming frantic. I shrunk back. No. I don't want them in here. My entire body was shaking. Then Prinks started crying again. It went quiet outside. It appears to be coming from the closet, Logan stated. A few seconds later, the door opened. I hugged Prinks as close as I could. His crying has gone down to a few sniffles. Anx? Patton said, kneeling down next to me. Who's this? I looked up at him slowly. Princey and Logic were sitting at the door waiting for me to say something. To talk. I shrunk back into my hoodie. Can I hold him? Patton asked. I shook my head. Patton seemed shocked, then a little disappointed. Oh, okay. I immediately felt bad. He went to stand up, but I grabbed his wrist. He sat back down, and I placed Prinks slowly and carefully, and a little anxiously into his arms. Patton's face immediately brightened. I fidgeted with my sleeves as he held the child. Patton laughed as Prinks grabbed his sleeves of his cardigan. So what's his name? I jumped at Princey's voice. And where did you find him? Logan asked. And how long have you had him? Princey said. Why didn't you tell us? Patton asked. I didn't say anything for a while. They were all looking at me, expecting me to say something. Then Logan sighed and summoned a pen and pad. Here, if you insist on not talking, then write the answers. Please. I took the pen and pad and cast Logic a grateful look. I scribbled down what I knew and handed it back to Logan. His name is Prinks, he read. I found him a year ago when I slept outside. He was sitting on the doorstep. I didn't tell you because I was afraid you'd take him away. Please don't take him away. Oh, kiddo, we wouldn't take him away, Patton said. But we will help raise him. It's not fair for you to have to raise him by yourself. I nodded. Maybe it'd be okay. Maybe. Month 9. Logan's POV. I sighed heavily. In a few months, it would be soulmate week again. I honestly don't know how we've made it this long without him. Logan? Missy sat next to me. Are you okay? Yes, Missy. I'll be okay. I told him. He frowned. Are you okay right now? I went quiet for a moment. I don't know. I'm guessing it's Patton, Missy said quietly. I nodded. I'm not the best with feelings, and I'm scared, and I don't know what to do. It's okay, Missy hugged me. Emotions are confusing and difficult, and it's normal to be scared. Things were so much easier when Patton was here, I admitted. Life is like a bow, and you're an arrow. When life pulls back, it's getting ready to launch you into something great, Missy said. I smiled and ruffled his hair. When did you get so smart? He laughed and adjusted his glasses. Missy? Prinks walked into the comments. Hey, there you are. Hey, Prinksy, what's up? Missy asked. Want to have a movie marathon? The older boy sat down on an armchair and draped his legs over the side. Missy nodded excitedly and jumped on Prinks, giggling. Of course. Prinks laughed. Logan, do you want to join us? I smiled, not bothering to correct his grammar. Why not? We should invite everyone, Missy yelled. I chuckled lightly. I'll go retrieve them. You pick the movies. All right. Prinks kissed Missy's cheek. Don't forget Deceit. I nodded, not exactly liking the last bit, but left the others. We're left to find the others. And Deceit. First, I went to Roman's room. I knew Virgil would be with him. They were practically inseparable. after the incident in the cave, Virgil actually started moving his things over to Roman's room. I'm pretty sure he moved his posters over, too. I knocked on the white, red, and gold door. There was a shuffling noise. Then the door opened to reveal Roman, still in his pajamas. "Hey, Logan, what's up?" he asked. Technically the ceiling, he scoffed. But in reality, Missy and Pranks were setting a movie marathon. Roman brightened up. "We'll be out soon." Where, what are we doing?" Virgil's tired voice called from the bed. Roman leaned back. "Movie marathon." "Okay," Virgil said. I nodded, and right before he closed the door, I saw 3 Tim Burton posters hanging on the wall. I smiled. Next, I went to the kids' room. I knocked on the door, but there was no answer. Confused, I opened the door. It was empty. I closed it and thought, where could he be? Deceit. They do seem quite close. I said and made my way to the lying traits room. Before I knocked, I caught a bit of their conversation. Not on purpose, of course. MG sneezed. Deceit chuckled. "Satan damn you." MG laughed. Then Deceit joined in. I smirked lightly and knocked. Deceit opened the door. We stared at each other for a moment. MG jumped up from the bed and ran over to hug me. "Lolo!" the child laughed. "Salutations," I smiled down at him. "Missy and Pranks are setting up a movie marathon." MG gasped excitedly. "Yay, is everyone coming?" I nodded. The youngest giggled. "Come on, Desi." MG grabbed Deceit's gloved hand and tried pulling him out of the commons. "Yes, I'll go there," Deceit said, retracting his hand. "Desi." MG looked up at him. "I'm always invited. Why would this time be any similar?" The lying trait snapped. "Deceit." "I will ruin your fun." "I won't stay in my room," he growled. Deceit. "I'm useful. I don't mess things up. I solve problems." His voice started getting loud. "Deceit," I yelled. He fell silent. "They invited everyone. That includes you." Deceit seemed shocked. He ducked his head, nodding. Satisfactory. I left MG and Deceit in the doorway, heading back to the commons. Just before reaching the commons, I was stopped by Pranks. "Logan, I need your help," he said. "What's wrong?" I asked. Pranks took a step closer. "Today's Missy's birthday. I need help decorating the cake." "Why don't you ask Roman? Surely the creative trade would be better suited for this," I thought. "Roman is helping Missy pick out movies," Pranks grimaced. "Please help me." I sighed. "All right." Pranks let out a sigh of relief. "Thank you." I followed him into the kitchen. 2 cakes were sitting on the counter, 1 frosted. Pranks caught my quizzical look and laughed. "That one's the prank cake." He pointed to the frosted one. "This one's the real one." The real cake was red velvet and chocolate. I looked at it for a moment. "How about we use buttercream frosting, blue of course, and put a misleading compliment on it?" I told Pranks. The eldest kid nodded. "I have the perfect compliment." I smiled and summoned everything we needed. After about a half an hour and Pranks stealing half the frosting, we finished the cake. "It's perfect," Pranks said. I nodded and summoned 14 candles. Patton always said they grew up too fast. It seemed like only yesterday we found him. "Ready?" Pranks asked, holding the joke cake. "After you," I said. Pranks smiled as he walked into the commons. "Pranks?" Missy laughed. "What's that for?" "It's for you. It's your birthday, silly," Pranks exclaimed. "Now cut the cake." Missy nodded. I handed him a knife and he pressed it into the cake. Then the cake exploded. Glitter fluttered through the air. Frosting was splattered across Missy's glasses and in his hair. It was a mess. "Pranks!" Missy said in a dangerously low voice. "Oh, shit, Logan!" Pranks called. I shook my head and carried out the real cake, candles lit. Roman slung his arm around Virgil's shoulders and pulled him close as everyone started to sing. "Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Missy. Happy birthday to you." Pranks gave him a kiss, getting a bit frosting on his face. "Maybe we'll get through this." Maybe. Flashback, Logan's POV, 14 years ago. Patton, where are you going? I asked the bubbly trait. He just shrugged. Patton had dragged me over to the imagination without a word. I did understand the purpose of this venture. We had about 1.5-year-old in the Mayan Palace. We needed to be there. Who knows what Roman would do with the kid? We really don't need another wannabe prince. Patton stopped suddenly and turned to face me. Relax, Logan. I am relaxed, I responded. No, you're not. Patton shook his head. You're worried about pranks, I could tell. I sighed. I suppose you're right. I sighed. I suppose you're right. Don't worry, Logan. Roman is with him. Patton reassured me. That's what I'm worried about, whispered Logan I whispered underneath my breath. Patton giggled. Anxiety is there too. I pursed my lips. Nothing against anxiety. He did raise the child for a year. I just highly doubt Roman will let him near pranks. Logan, Patton's voice quieted. You'll be okay. You need a break. You've been working yourself to the bone. I nodded and took a deep breath. All right, Patton. Okay. He smiled softly and took my hands in his. There we go. Now close your eyes. I closed them and felt Patton pull me forward. I let him guide me deeper into the imagination, listening to the sound of our footsteps in the silence that surrounded us. He stopped, and I nearly ran into the other. Patton just giggled. He let go of my hands. Stay here, he said. I nodded. A small smile rested on my face. I heard his footsteps slowly walk away, but then they stopped, and suddenly, with a panic shriek, my eyes flew open. Patton! Then I realized where I was. I was sitting on a cliff with the most beautiful, outstanding view of the imagination. Dark green of the forest clashing with the grays of the mountains. The sun was splitting down the past of the top of the trees, casting golden light over the land. And right in front of me was a picnic. But I ignored all that, because Patton was nowhere to be seen. I rushed over to the edge of the cliff and peered over the side. Patton was lying, seemingly unconscious, on the shelf of the rock 30 feet down. Patton! I called down. He didn't move. I started to panic, gulping. I summoned a rope and tied it to the nearest tree. I tied the other end around my waist. Taking a deep breath, I started climbing down to face the cliff. I was 30 feet away when the rope ran out of slack. My eyes went wide, and I glanced back at Patton, still unmoving, and began untying the knot around my waist. I dropped and landed hard on the rock. Wincing, I got up and made my way to the figure and sprawled out on the ground. Patton, I whispered, shaking his shoulder slightly. Patton, wake up. He winced, opening his eyes slightly. Logan? Patton, don't move. Answer verbally. Are you okay? I asked, examining him for any minor injuries. Why can't I move? He asked. You could have injured your spine, I said quietly. Does anything hurt? My arm. Patton bit back a sob. I bit my lip. The upper part of his right arm was bent oddly. I grimaced. I think it's broken. It hurts a lot, he cried, tears starting to follow down his face. Patton, calm down, I told him, resting my hand on his chest. I'm going to have to set it, and it's going to hurt you, okay? Oh, okay, he sniffed. I nodded and grabbed his arm. In one swift motion, I straightened the bone. Patton threw his head back and screamed. I snapped as a light blue cast appeared on his arm, next to his summon sling. Patton, are you all right? I asked. Yeah, he responded shakily. I nodded. Okay, can you move your feet? He wiggled his feet around and winced. Okay, I think you're good to sit up, I said. I helped Patton sit upright and looked at him closely. Bruises and small cuts were littered everywhere. He was covered in dust and pebbles from the fall. His glasses were thankfully untouched, though. He must have rolled down most of the face of the cliff. Logan? Patton asked. Yes, Patton? I looked down at the injured tree. Patton smiled lightly. Can we finish our picnic? I nodded. Of course. He smiled brightly and I teleported back to the cliff. It made me a bit dizzy, but I pushed away. Logan? I looked up. Patton was staring wide-eyed at the bundle on the picnic blanket. Another child. I stood and walked over to the child. He was currently asleep. I picked him up. He didn't so much as stir. What's his name? Patton asked. Misleading compliments, I said. Can I hold him? Patton reached out with his good arm. Patton, you're injured, I said. Oh, please. He pulled his puppy eyes. Logan, pretty please. I sighed and sat down next to him. All right. Patton's face lit up as I handed him the child. Hi, Missy, he cooed. Welcome to the mindscape. Missy? I questioned. It's even saying misleading compliments all the time, Patton explained. I nodded, smiling lightly. Yes, it is. I like it. It's fitting. Patton giggled. I hope Roman and Anxiety are doing well. Prinks can be a handful. I rolled my eyes. Maybe looking after Prinks will make them get along. Patton laughed. Maybe. March 10th, month 10th. Roman's POV. What about a garnet rose set into a silver band and 2 black diamonds set on either side? I mumbled to myself. Virgil was asleep on our bed, snoring softly. I was sitting at my desk trying to design an engagement ring. As I looked around, I'm sorry. I dropped my tablet. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Virgil was asleep on our bed, snoring softly. I was sitting at my desk trying to design an engagement ring. As I looked around the room for inspiration, my eyes landed on the sleeping form of my boyfriend. This ring needed to be perfect. Virgil shifted slightly. Ro, what you talking about? I smiled at him. It's a surprise. He questioned, sitting up. For you, Virgie. I got up and gave him a peck on the nose. Now let's go eat lunch. Virg smiled, then frowned. Can I ask you about that? About what? I asked, sitting on our bed. You just randomly started eating again. Not that I'm complaining. Virgil added quickly. It's confusing, right? I smiled softly. He nodded. I sighed. It's a long story. Are you sure you want to hear it? Virg nodded. I'm sure. All right. Roman's POV. 14 years ago, a few days after Patton and Logan found Roman in the bathroom. Please, Roman, Patton begged. I shook my head, pushing the plate of cheesy rice away. Patton had already convinced me to eat breakfast, and that was enough for me. He sighed. Roman, I love you like a son, you know that, right? I looked up at him and nodded. And you know it hurts to see you like this, he continued. I gave him a confused look. When we found you, I was so scared. Patton started to cry. And when you told us you were underweight, I didn't know what I did wrong. I grabbed his hands that were frantically wiping away tears. He looked up at me, and I pulled him into a hug. He hugged back immediately and cried into my shoulder. I'm sorry, I croaked. You didn't do anything wrong. It's my fault. He pulled away and held my shoulders. Roman, don't think like that. It's not your fault either. I nodded. Now will you please eat? Patton asked. I looked at the plate of food. I didn't know if I could. Maybe I could try. Please? Patton squeezed my hand. I slowly lifted the fork. Gradually, bite after slow bites, I managed to eat half the cheesy rice. I set the fork down and looked back at Patton, expecting to see an expression of disappointment for not finishing. Instead, his face was split with a wide grin. He pulled me into a tight hug. I'm proud of you, he whispered into my ear. Can you promise me something? Patton asked when we pulled away. I nodded. Promise me you'll always stay a healthy weight, okay? I promise. Roman's POV, present day. Logan reminded me of that promise. I told Virg. Wow, Virgil said. Wow. I kissed the top of my head. I'm getting better, though. Good. Virg rested his head on my chest. I don't want to lose you, especially not like that. I know, I responded. I started playing with his hair. Then Deceit stormed down the hallway. The author still doesn't need at least 452 more words, he yelled down the hall. Virgil scrunched his nose in amusement, a glimmer of a smile flashing across his face. I laughed. Okay, now let's go eat lunch. All right, Virg chuckled. I had a feeling that something big was about to happen. As we walked into the kitchen, Maybe something life-changing. Maybe. There's not supposed to be 390 more words, Deceit screamed at the author. Month 11. Logan's POV. You're proposing to him? Roman nodded excitedly. Yes, on the first day of Soulmate Week. And you have a ring? I asked. He dug his hand into his pocket and fished out a silver ring inlaid with black diamonds, with a large black diamond in the center and 2 amethysts on either side. Wow, Roman, that's gorgeous, I told him. I know, he exclaimed, but I need your help, I sighed. Of course, what do you need? I need you to keep Virgil distracted while I set up, Roman said, grinning. Okay, what is the best way to keep him occupied? I said. Roman smirked. Have you seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared? I shook my head. No, I don't think I have. Roman chuckled. Okay, there's 6 episodes and are almost all musical. It takes about a half an hour to watch all of them. That should be enough time. I nodded. So I'll just watch the series with Virgil so you can set up your proposal. Got it. Thank you so much, Logan. Roman pulled me into a quick hug. I chuckled and awkwardly patted his back. You're welcome. So, have you ever thought about proposing to Patton? Roman asked. I frowned. There hasn't exactly been a good time recently. Roman physically cringed. Right, sorry. No, it's fine, I reassured him. I understand, you're excited. But, Roman started. I gave him a smile. I'm okay, I promise. Roman nodded and smiled lightly back. We stood in late-night silence that surrounded the kitchen. The kids had long since gone to bed, and Virgil fell asleep on the couch soon after. It was just me and Roman awake. I thought back to what you said. Truth be told, I haven't thought about proposing to Patton. The suit I'd wear, the flowers, the ring. It would be a braided band, silver, but with one strand that would be gold, a single heart-shaped diamond. The words tumbled out of my mouth before I could let them stop. Roman looked at me, confused. What? The ring I'd proposed to him with. Never mind, it's ridiculous, right? I shook my head. Completely ridiculous. No, I think it's wonderful, Roman grinned. Of course you would think it's wonderful. You are romantic, I told him. Roman's smile softened. Patton will think it's wonderful. You think so? I asked. Roman nodded. I know so. Thanks, Roman, I said. You're a good friend. As you are. As are you, Microsoft. Don't, I interrupted. There was a moment of pause. Then we laughed. All right, Roman said. I'm going to take my little cloud of gloom to bed. I have a feeling something big is going to happen soon. Of course, I said. You're proposing. Roman shook his head. No, something bigger. I quirked my head. Bigger? How? Roman shrugged. Don't know. With a smile and that confusing statement, Roman left to go put his hopefully future fiancé to bed. I sighed and decided to sink down to check on Thomas. When I rose up, in my usual spot, I smiled. Thomas was asleep on the couch, reruns of Steven Universe playing on the TV. I shook my head fondly. Definitely not the best place to sleep, but I didn't want to wake him. So I picked up the dishes on the coffee table and put them in the sink. Then turned off the TV. Thomas stirred, but didn't wake up. I grabbed a blanket off the back couch and draped it over the sleeping host. I turned off the rest of the lights and sunk back into the mindscape. I rose up in my room and flopped on my bed. It was late, and I was tired, but I couldn't sleep. I sighed. If things didn't go the way they had, wouldn't Patton and I be engaged by now? Who knows? Maybe we would. Maybe. Okay, this next chapter is entitled Flashbacks. Trigger warnings, mentions of everything that happened in the book, which is a lot of trigger warnings. So hopefully you've been with me through the ride of the book. There's no point of view, so I'm guessing it's just random flashbacks. 11 months ago, Patton was kidnapped by depression, held captive as the others recovered and tried to and tried to find a way to rescue him. It was Deceit. It was said Deceit was not eating, and Prinks was self-harming again. Prinks' issue was soon resolved, and he fell asleep on the couch with his boyfriend, Missy. Later, Logan went and watched Big Hero 6 with Roman and Virgil. He ended up leaving almost in tears to be reminded of Patton because of Honey Lemon. 10 months ago, it was revealed that Deceit had an eating disorder, anorexia nervosa. Logan confronts him about this, and MG finds out. Logan then makes food for Deceit and, with the help of MG, finally gets Deceit to eat. 9 months ago, Logan was woken by a scream. Virgil had a panic attack. Logan went to check on Virgil and Roman. When Virgil calmed, Logan mentioned Patton. Virgil went off. Logan was reminded that Deceit had some kind of connection with the depression and went to confront him. Roman and Virgil had to step in, and Logan left after Deceit revealed that he knew something. Logan ended up punching his wall. 8 months ago, Roman and Virgil went to get something to eat, but recent events triggered Roman's eating disorder. Luckily, Virgil noticed. After a slight confirmation and a mild panic attack, they went to sit outside. Virgil fell asleep, so Roman went up to depression surrounding the Mind Palace. Depression showed in Patton, and Roman accidentally woke Virgil. Virgil rushed over and tried to get Patton, but it didn't work. Then Logan came out. 7 months ago, Logan, Roman, and Virgil went on a rescue mission. Logan told the kids to stay home, but they didn't listen, except MG. Logan, Roman, and Virgil found Patton. Logan kissed Patton, but the mood was ruined by depression kicking Missy and causing him to go blind. Logan, Roman, and Virgil, and the kids were forced to leave Patton behind. 6 months ago, Logan was wishing he could be emotionless again when Missy experienced his concerns from Pranks. Missy and Logan went to check if Pranks self-harmed. He did and promised to tell if he felt like self-harming. Then Virgil stormed into the kitchen to trick Roman into drinking Powerade. Roman fell for it. 5 months ago, it's Christmas. The kids and Roman went to wake up Logan. He said he didn't feel well, and Roman asked the kids to leave. Logan called out Roman, and Roman blew up. Logan then exclaimed what happened between him and Patton when Patton first self-harmed and how worried he was when he found Roman trying to purge. Roman had promised he would eat, and he went to join the others. After breakfast, they opened a gift. Logan got Missy a pair of glasses that reversed the effects of blindness. Then more gifts appeared. They were from Patton. The others were amazed and in tears. They then sent Patton a Christmas card. 4 months ago, Deceit breaks the fourth wall, and MG helps him feel better. 3 months ago, Logan is feeling bad, and Missy talks to him. Pranks comes in and recommends a movie marathon. Logan goes to tell Roman and Virgil and sets to find MG. MG is in Deceit's room. Deceit didn't want to go, but Logan calmed him down and told him he was invited. Pranks then insisted Logan helped him make a cake for Missy's birthday. 2 months ago, Roman is thinking for designs of an engagement ring to propose to Virgil with. Virgil wakes up and asks Roman why he's suddenly eating again. Roman tells him about the promise he made to Patton and how Logan reminded him of that. 1 month ago, Logan and Roman talk about proposal plans and engagement rings. Something big is coming soon. Month 12, Logan's POV. The trigger warning on here is don't hug me, I'm scared. Don't know how that's a trigger warning, but sure. It was the official start of Soulmate Week. The tattoo of glasses was once again on my wrist. It was also the day Roman was proposing to Virgil. Hey, Logan, Virgil said. Can I talk to you? Sure, Virgil, I responded. He motioned me into Roman's room. He started pacing on the cream-colored carpet. After a moment, I spoke up. Virgil, are you alright? The darker trait stopped suddenly. Virgil, I'm going to propose to Roman, he yelled. I blinked. This should be interesting. I'm going to propose to him today, and I'm freaking out. Virgil, calm down. Take a deep breath, I told him. He nodded and followed my instructions. Do you have a ring? I asked Virgil. He nodded again and pulled out a silver and gold ring with diamonds and a heart-shaped ruby. I smiled softly. He'll love it. Yeah? Virgil asked. I nodded. Thanks, Logan. Would you like to watch something to ease your nerves? I asked. Sure. What do you want to watch? Virgil said, opening his laptop. Well, I heard about something called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, I said. Virgil's face brightened. Come, sit here and shut up till the end. I chuckled lightly and sat down next to him. Virgil pulled up the videos and we started watching. It was interesting. So the first one's about being creative. It is a very childish scene. It was a very catchy tune, though. What's with the black goo over the silence? Wait, voices in your brain? Okay, they're now doing a craft. Wait, is that a heart? Is that a cake filled with organs that spilled death? The first one ended and Virgil paused the video. Well, yes, I blinked and shook my head. Wow. Are you up for the next one? I smiled. Yes. Virgil clicked play. This one didn't seem so bad. It's about time. Interesting. The red one doesn't seem too happy about this. Oh, the past. It seems like a Victorian times. The apple is rotting, and I guess that what happens. The future looks slightly scary, and now there's a fish. The red one still seems unhappy. It's time and a constructive human. Wow. That alarm clock. Now they're growing old. Oh, that is unpleasant. And ticking hasn't stopped. Lovely. The screen went black, and the next one started playing. And this one, they're having a picnic with raw chicken. Oh, a butterfly, something nice for once. Never mind. Now the other one is upset. Another butterfly is talking. One, no, none less. Is this going to kill them? It seems too nice. Poor Michael. Yes, that is what happens when you're in love. I felt Virgil tense a bit and mentioned it with Varang. I patted his shoulder reassuringly, and he gave me a small smile. What the hell is that? They fed it gravel? Oh dear, this has to be some kind of cult. Was that just a fever dream? Oh, that's cute. That's creepy. The next one played. They're playing a game, or what expectedly something to happen. Do you know about the previous videos? Oh, the globe. It's a computer? Where did that come from? Hey, look, it's you, Virgil said. I scoffed. Shut up and watch. Now it's asking for personal information. Oh, okay, don't touch. What's happening? What's going on? What's the sound screaming? Now they're digital? Okay, so apparently the only things that can happen digitally is graphing, style, and dancing. It's getting faster now. What's going on? Oh no. What was that? The duck and yellow one are gone? Or flickering? The red one is on the door? Wow, this has suddenly gotten very meta. His head has exploded with glitter? The next one. The red one is missing. Did that picture just change? And now the food is talking? This is a thing, I guess. It's not bad so far. Oh, the phone is ringing and the music stopped. Is the bird on the operating table? And is that back to the talking food? That's a weird way to explain things. And the phone is ringing again. They're back at the table now and the phone turned into a sandwich. The bird is right. There is something very wrong. Those are the unhealthy foods. I held back a laugh at soil foods and yolk. Oh, that's unpleasant. The fridge is alive now? The duck knocked over the camera. Is he being eaten alive? Oh no, he's being canned. Is that a sentient can of eating the duck? The spaghetti is red and has eyes. Oh dear, what's happening? Did the yellow one eat the duck? As that one ended, I got a text from Roman. It's ready. Hey, Virgil, I asked. What's up? He responded. Why don't we grab some snacks before the next one starts? I said. Sure. Virgil got up from the bed and started walking out. The commons were decorated with red and purple roses. Roman was standing in the middle with a single black rose. Roman, what's all this? Virgil said with a smile. It's for you, Roman said. I have to ask you something. Okay, what's up? Virgil asked, still smiling. I love you till the ends of the earth. I don't think I could live without you, so Virgil? Roman got down on one knee and pulled out the ring. Will you marry me? What? Virgil said, shocked. No. Virg, is something wrong? Roman started panic. Did I? No, Ro, it's fine. Virgil took a deep breath and pulled the ring out of his pocket. It's just, I was going to propose to you. Roman smiled softly. I would love to marry you, Virgie. The engaged couple put on their respective rings. Roman cupped Virgil's face and gently kissed his fiancée. Oh, that's too cute. That wasn't the kids, was that... I turned around. Yes! Flashback, Deceit's point of view. Trigger warning, blood, self-harm. 1 hour ago. It was going to get Patton back today. Grabbing my hat, I teleported myself to the entrance of the cave. I took a deep breath. It's now or never. I set my hat on my head and marched in. It was cold and dark. The depression seemed to move to let me pass. I ventured in further, trying to find Patton. My feet hit water and I knew I was close. As I walked in further, I heard snuffling. Patton? I called out. The crying stopped. Hello? Patton! I said. It's not Deceit. I'm not here to rescue you. Deceit? Patton said, appearing from around the corner. You're actually here? I nodded. I'm not going to take you back to Logan, Virgil, and Roman, and the kids. But depression won't let me leave. Patton's eyes started to fill with tears. It'll hurt you. Yes, Patton, I exclaimed. I can't control it. That's right, Patton's expression brightened. Go off, I said, taking his hand and guiding him towards the exit. He giggled a bit at my backwards speech and stumbled forward a little, but then the depression attacked. I managed to stop one of its attacks, but the other grazed my side. Only a scratch, I told myself. I heard Patton scream. I turned to see Patton dodging 3 tendrils all at once. I focused on snapped 2 of them off. They disappeared before they hit the water. The third turned sharply towards me. I rolled out of its way. Stay here, I yelled at Patton. No, Patton cried. I'm not leaving you. This is exactly what got you free the last time, I shouted back. Thomas needs me. He doesn't need to, so stay. No, you're important and loved and needed. You're my kiddo, Deceit. I'm not leaving without you, Patton yelled. I'm not leaving you alone again. Tears had come to my eyes. I was cut off by a sharp pain in my back and stomach. Looking down, I saw a tendril covered in blood sticking out of my stomach. I heard Patton scream as I fell to the ground. Deceit! Patton said, suddenly above me. Hey, we're gonna get you out, okay, kiddo? Patton, stay, I gasped. I don't seal depression. He shook his head. No, once you seal depression, I can get both of us out of here. It's not dangerous, I tried to convince him. Please, Patton begged. I nodded quickly, focusing the last of my energy into creating a barrier that only I could break. I hoped it worked. Patton's point of view. Deceit, you did it, I exclaimed. He didn't respond. Deceit? Nothing. I panicked, snapping my fingers. I teleported us to the Mind Palace. I had to find the others. Then I heard voices in the commons. It's just, I was going to propose to you. I would love to marry you, Virgie. I peered around the corner, and I saw Roman and Virgil kissing. Aw, that's so cute, I squealed. Logan turned around. Oh, Logan. His face immediately brightened. Patton! He threw his arms around me and hugged me like I would disappear if he let go. Oh my god, Pat, how did you get here? Logan asked, holding my face in one hand while the other rested on my shoulder. Deceit rescued me, I told them. Then I remembered. Oh no, Deceit's hurt bad, Logan. He needs help. Pat, calm down. Take me to Deceit, he said, gripping my hand. I nodded and pulled him to where I left Deceit. Blood was quickly pooling around the scale trait's body. It was soaked into his clothes around a gaping hole in his abdomen. Oh, God, I heard Roman gasp as Logan rushed to stop the bleeding. I didn't realize how much I was shaking until Virg wrapped his arms around me. He rubbed my back and I cried into his shoulder. Patton? Logan's voice cut through. I looked up at him. He looked worried. What's gonna happen? I asked. He's alive, Logan said quickly, but I know if he's gonna make it. And? I said, moving out of Virgil's hug. Logan took a deep breath. His spine was almost completely severed. If he makes it, he'll be paralyzed from the waist down. I nodded, looking down at my arms. I winced. Logan? I said quietly. What's wrong, Pat? Logan asked. Slowly, I showed him my wrists. Virgil gasped, and I quickly held my arms to my chest. I looked down at the floor, tears silently making their way down my face. Without saying anything, Logan motioned for the other two to leave. He gently grabbed my wrists and sat me down at the table. He silently began cleaning the cuts, wrapping bandages around them. When he finished, they pulled me into a hug. I missed you so much, he whispered. I missed you too, Loki. I hugged him back. I pulled away slightly and connected our lips. There are times of charm. Yes. So that is the final chapter of Maybe. You know what? Since we have no school anyway, and I have all the time in the world, how about we read all of Yes next Wednesday and finish off the whole series? Because, oh my god, this is just so intense. Okay, so like, I can't even, for what? Okay, so like everyone's been contacting me and like, oh, I like Virgil and Roman's ship best, or no, I like Logan and Patton, yada yada yada. And of course, there's no Deceit in here because this book was made way before Remus was introduced. But actually, my favorite pair in here is Deceit and MG, because it's so cute seeing Deceit's soft side and MG being MG looks up to Deceit so much, and it's so adorable. I'm sorry for keeping you guys here for basically an hour, but I just really wanted to finish the book today, so come back next week to read the rest. Please subscribe. I'm so close to 200, as you see. At the time of this recording, I am at 195. I love you all so much. Thank you. Merch is in the description. And remember to do your best.